as a person selling equipment, I really don't care how they finance it. In fact, if they would just have the checkbook out, it would be best for me. But in our market today, and as we study the market, at least 30% of the time, that's what, when we study how well we do with a dealer, we believe that 30% of the time the equipment they sell will be financed by us. That tells us that at least 30% of their customers are wondering as they talk to them about the equipment, how am I going to pay for it? The best scenario is to offer the financing early on in the process so the customer can save face. The customer is also embarrassed. They don't want to act like they can't pay for it. So if the salesman just offers them as a professional, let me just say, I don't care how you finance it, but here is a great alternative. You ought to really get a quote from these guys because it's going to help you with your bank. Then it's a very natural way for that equipment salesman to open up the door, find out how they're going to pay for it, and then speed the process along. The whole mission of Connext is to support builders and dealers and help them sell equipment. So we provide what I call captive financial services. It's captive because we think it's controlled by the dealer. It's what the dealer wants. It's all about helping the customer get equipment, but it's benefited and directed and focused on the dealer. So what we're different about is that all of us have, pretty much everybody on the team has had years and years experience as bankers, but what we learned was the equipment. What we learned is we fell in love with the equipment. What we learned was you had to have more than one option to be able to really help the customers. I couldn't feel good about myself working for a bank yet and knowing I was going to go in and shove or push or nudge that customer into one source. I knew that if I walked into a dealer that I was really just hoping to get leads from him that I could fit into my box. Now I can walk into the dealer and I can say, I'm going to help your customer get to yes fast. And if it can get done, I'm going to get it done. And I know without a doubt that when I talk to that customer, I can listen to him and fit him into what he wants to do and help him see how it's going to benefit him. I like that point of view. What we do for the dealer is, let's pretend this dealer has some kind of internal finance contact that the leads flow into from the sales field. In that scenario, that guy sitting at that desk, or in the case where the dealership has no person like that, so each equipment salesman is out there sending his leads, every one of those people have to have a Rolodex that says, well, here's my favorite finance guy. Here's my second favorite finance guy. Here's my third finance guy. And here's the deal. He calls his favorite guy. And if that lead doesn't fit his box, he's got to then, that customer's filled out a credit application, that customer's gotten emotionally warmed up and's been told no. Now the salesman has to rebuild that relationship and keep him excited, pat him on the behind, and send it to finance guy number 2. What I want to do, what we want to do for the dealer is to provide them one phone call. The customer calls one person, fills out one credit application. Sometimes behind the scenes, they may be turned down 3 times before we get it just right, before we get to a place where there's just the right structure and just the right funding source. And the customer hears yes. And the guy who has the Rolodex or had the Rolodex can sell equipment.